long as AI is a threat, we will never stop hunting them. This is a fight for our very existence.
If you enjoyed watching Rogue One, a Star Wars story in movie theaters like I did, then chances are you're also going to like the creator, because it was made by the same director and two of the same writers who made Rogue One, a Star Wars story possible. They are Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz. What I really like about Gareth Edwards, and why I look up to him as a filmmaker, is Gareth Edwards really knows his craft when it comes to writing, directing, and visual effects. Gareth Edwards is the kind of VFX artist that we need to have in Hollywood more often. The kind of person who knows how to revolutionize modern digital effects that are not so expensive. He really knows how to balance practical effects with digital computer graphics without making them too expensive, which is why Gareth Edwards was a very affordable, very in-demand talent for visual effects, who is 5 times cheaper than the visual effects artist closest to the BBC. Gareth Edwards knows how to make cost-effective special effects and how to be cost-efficient when making a movie of his own. That's why The Creator is an original science fiction film property created by Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz that only cost $80 million to make, as opposed to their Star Wars franchise studio film Rogue One, which cost $200 million to make.
What do you want, sweetie?
For robots to be free.
Oh, we don't have that in the fridge. How about ice cream?
Mother Linda, if you're watching this right now, then I'd really like to watch The Creator with you in movie theaters. To the rest of my audience, another big reason why you should watch The Creator is because Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz made it at the best time for all of us to warn humanity against the dangers of allowing artificial intelligence to do all of our jobs for us, especially in a time where writers, actors, and visual effects artists have all gone on strike in the same year to protest against greedy studios to pay them better residuals and compensate them fairly for all their work in the big era of streaming services. They don't want artificial intelligence to replace humans who do a good job at writing, directing, animating, visual effects, post-production, and voice acting, and even animating, because you know about the other delays that happened with Beyond the Spider-Verse. And we are not going to take it anymore. But Gareth Edwards is one person we can trust to not overuse artificial intelligence in his movies. Mark Hamill believes that George Lucas would find a way to make movies without actors if he could, and in a sense George Lucas could do that, could conceivably make a Star Wars movie. George Lucas and whoever's running Lucasfilm after him could conceivably make a Star Wars movie that, if it was just about droids and puppeteered Star Wars creatures fighting and arguing with each other.
As you wish.
Which would be a giant waste of money, but still kind of amusing to watch. Or at least it would be a better version of the sort of humor that the 1978 Holly special was aiming to have, I guess. But Gareth Edwards knows how to use artificial intelligence how to properly use artificial intelligence to digitally replace actors without removing actors from the equation altogether.
What is your reaction to the quasi-controversy around the use of Peter Cushing as a CGI character for Grand Moff Tarkin?
We spoke to Peter Cushing's estate and asked them, like, you know, how do you feel about this? And they were okay with it. And then the real challenge became, can you do it, you know?
You also have another CGI character with Princess Leia very
Yeah.
briefly at the end. Did Carrie Fisher kind of, was she a part of that in some way? I mean, it's one of her last roles on screen right before she died.
Carrie knew we were doing it.
That is why he did such a good job at making Ingvild Dila look like Carrie Fisher at the end of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, which Carrie Fisher liked so much because it actually fooled her into thinking that it was a scene from Star Wars that she doesn't remember making in the first film. She thought it was an actual scene of herself that she doesn't remember acting in. Peyton Reed applied his experience and knowledge with digital de-aging techniques and digital aging techniques, which he used at the same time at the beginning of the first Ant-Man film, when he directed the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian to make Max Lloyd Jones look like a younger Mark Hamill, how Mark Hamill looked when he was young in Return of the Jedi. That is why I believe we should all watch The Creator while it's playing in theaters right now, even if we miss its opening weekend. Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz know how to mix practical effects with digital CGI effects without making their movies too expensive like some other 2023 blockbuster event flops that we've had that would have turned a huge profit if they weren't $200 million more or less more expensive than the $80 million budget of The Creator.
You all pretended to cure me, but what I have planned for each of you is very real.
Those should be my superpowers. Coming in hot! I'm gonna take them one by one.
And most importantly, because Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz have very profound statements to make about the dangers of overusing artificial intelligence, both in the making of their film and in real life outside of the production of their film. Wow. Mom, you came to join my video?
I heard you talking about The Creator.
You were watching it. Did you watch it at home?
Rogue One, which I loved from the beginning, has become more and more beloved. So, you know, what do you think about that as it gets even more popular as the years go on?
My fear doing that movie was that I was going to spend the rest of my life with people shouting across the street, "You ruined my childhood," you know, and so just to not have people shouting at me saying that is like a relief.
You heard what he said, and you actually decided you want to go out of your way to make the trip to come and greet me in person?
Sure.
Wow. So, are you game to watch The Creator in movie theaters with me?
Yes, absolutely.
It's good. You know, I was a little too young to appreciate the true full value and gravity of Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, when we initially watched it back in 2016. But you know, now I know it. But now that we have The Creator, I know what Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz are talking about. You know, The Creator is definitely their kind of film because it's another science fiction epic by them that explores the darker side of humanity and the edgier side of science fiction technology, which I think Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines before it was also able to pull off surprisingly well 20 years ago.
You gotta be a good person to go to heaven.
Phil, we're the same. We can't go to heaven because you're not good. And I'm not a person.
Another big reason why I'm looking forward to The Creator and why we should give it a chance, apart from everything else that I've stated about, you know, artificial intelligence, is that it stars John David Washington, who I think was really great in the movie Tenet, even though I haven't seen it yet. You know, action blockbuster by Christopher Nolan, and it also gives Veronica and Go a bigger and better part to play after she played Paige Tico, the sister of Rose Tico, who sacrificed her life at the beginning of The Last Jedi.
Right, yeah. I'd like to see her again.
I would too. And, you know, I really hate all of those people who racist and sexist bigots towards Kelly Marie Tran and called her names, but Mark Hamill knew how to strike back. He told them the same thing that he told Kylo Ren about when he thought that the Jedi were going to end in the climax of Last Jedi.
Every word of what you just said was wrong.
Yeah.
I learned so much in just reading one big important Variety article, I learned so much about Gareth Edwards and his many talents, his many multifaceted talents, just in preparation, and learn more than I expected or needed to learn in preparation for this video. And I just think Gareth Edwards from Rogue One: A Star Wars Story and Donald Glover from Solo: Star Wars Story are just a great type. I guess they're just a great type of people who learn who get more interesting the more you learn about them, and their multifaceted set of skills and talents. And I know what Donald Glover would say to his fans if they told him that that they liked him for for how great he was at acting in Community or voice acting in China, Illinois, and Adventure Time, or all the great music videos and rap numbers he makes as the Childish Gambino.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
And that's my video. I hope you will take our warnings and Gareth Edwards and Chris Weitz's warnings against artificial intelligence to heart, even if you cannot afford a movie ticket to the creator. If you're scared of watching a movie like this in movie theaters, you can always wait until DVDs come out in 3 months. I really hope my video does something effective to generate a lot of good box office revenue for the creator to make sure that it becomes one of the top 10 highest grossing movies of 2023, which should be a very easy, and if it doesn't turn a profit, will be a very easy low bar to pass with a budget of just $80 million for such a big scale production. And I also hope this video goes viral because of the way that I market, because of the way that I chose to give the creator and Gareth Edwards free marketing. In which case, if this preliminary prediction comes true, I thank all of you viewers for giving this video 1 million views in its first year on YouTube.
Let's make it hope. Like and subscribe.
Thank you for watching my first impressions and hard-hitting recommendations of the creator.
Like and subscribe.
Mom, how do you feel about The Mitchells vs. the Machines? Do you think that's a good movie we should watch?
I'd like to watch
I'd love to watch The Mitchells vs. the Machines, especially because it's made by one of the same writers and voice actors from Gravity Falls, who also voice acts in this movie, Michael Rianda, and because The Mitchells vs. the Machines, it's I think it could be Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines for kids. If you like The Mitchells vs. the Machines, you might also like Ron's Gone Wrong, which came out in the same month.
Oh, okay. What's that you recommended?